Senator Boisvenu.
Président, je vais être très rapide. Merci beaucoup.
I'll be very quick. Chairman, can you hear the English interpretation? Thank you very much. Firstly, for your presentations. They are very informative. I have a general question. How many persons are there in Canada who are not sighted, who exercise their franchise? Do you have statistics on this?
Directly in front of me, but I can certainly get them for you.
Oui, j'aimerais bien avoir une idée.
Yes, thank you. I'd like to have an idea, just to have an idea of how difficult it is for someone who is not sighted to vote. There may be difficulties in 50% of the cases, but it seems to me that if the other 50% can work, the system may well be working. I have another question. In the bill, we see the mandate of the Director General of Elections, the Chief Electoral Officer. He would be limited to saying where and how to vote. Would you agree that the mandate of limiting this to where you vote, how you vote, would this be something that would help those who are non-sighted?
If I understand the question correctly, the importance of getting the information in an accessible format, a way that we can have the knowledge to go and do that, the voting is very important. I think that what's most important for us is also making sure that there's an opportunity to have any information that would affect a person with a disability made available to them.
Absolutely.
In whichever format, whether it be for someone who is blind and needs it on electronic or braille, or someone with low vision for large print or other format.
Merci beaucoup.
Okay. Senator Moore.
Thank you, Chair. I want to thank you both for being here. Senator Boisvenu asked the question I wanted to ask. I think it might be instructive to know how many people, Ms. Bergeron, are blind or partially sighted. I'm sort of hesitant to ask the question. Maybe it's a matter of privacy, but it would be helpful, I think, for the committee to know that. If you could find that out from your colleagues at CNIB and let the clerk know, it would be useful. Mr. Earle, I don't know, I'm not familiar with People First of Ontario. What is your organization and how long has it been doing its work? How many people are involved in it?
Absolutely, and it's a perfect opportunity. People First is a self-advocacy organization for people with disabilities. It represents intellectual disability, which is literacy. Mm-hmm. So our members, we've been here existing in the province of Ontario for 32 years. We also are national, which our head office is in Winnipeg for national. I have the privilege to serve as first vice president for our national. We have well over 100 members in this province that go around. I do commend the federal government for announcing provincial funding to our organization to go around and talk about accessible issues that people are facing in this country. That's a brand new grant that we just got. But our board is dealt with on volunteering basis. So our entire board and membership is all volunteer. Mm-hmm. We provide guidance in terms of policy changes that we believe that affects our members. And part of our other mandate was to close the largest institutions in the province of Ontario, such as Rideau Regional Centre, and et cetera. We're proud of that to help push that forward. So that's some of the things that we do. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, give recommendations today.
Yes. Okay, thank you. Thanks, Chair.
Thank you. Senator Batters.
Thank you very much, both of you, for coming today. First of all, to Ms. Bergeron, I was pleased to see when I looked at the 39 types of ID that are available to be used to vote, that the CNIB ID card is one of those forms of ID. And we've heard earlier that often that card can have a person's address on it, and I'm wondering if you could confirm that for us.
Yes, it is an option when registering with CNIB that the ID card can have an address added on it.
Okay, great. And that could perhaps be something going forward that your group might encourage your members to put their address on it so that they could use that as one of the forms of ID going forward for the next election. And then to Mr. Earle, you referred to your twin brother and how he crowds, are not something that he reacts well to. And I was wondering how well known. Obviously, it's not well known. It needs to be better known. But I'm wondering if focusing, what we're trying to do in a portion of this bill is to focus Elections Canada on providing information about where, when, how to vote. And, for people like your brother, who anxiety is an issue with crowds, there are ways that they can vote by special ballot. They can vote starting on election, the day the election is called, and every day forward from that, they could go to the returning office to vote. They could vote by mail-in ballot from the, privacy of their own home. They could vote at a number of advance polling days, and you certainly referred to that it was a positive step to add one day. So
Absolutely.
I'm just wondering if you would agree then that focusing Elections Canada on those particular types of measures might help people like your brother.
Absolutely, and as I've started off at the very beginning, I don't oppose this bill completely. I commend the minister and our MP Scott Reid for first of all, involving people, because I think that's really key to addressing that. Look, the special ballots is not well known out there. I'll tell you that right now, because I didn't realize about special ballots until I actually met with the minister. And I went, and then I started asking people, because I thought, boy, I'm only 28, but come on now, there must be something going on here, because I never heard of it. I think the MPs got to be better educated in terms of how they inform their constituents on that there is a special ballot. Will that eliminate some anxiety? Yeah. I don't want people to start going backwards, though, and thinking that they're going to start doing all these special ballots and they're not going to go to the voting station. I think it's our hope that they will at least come out, if they can, to vote. But those special ballots are huge. My twin actually would benefit from that.
Great.
But I didn't recognize that until this past year with the minister.
Okay.
So I think that really needs to be read out a little more, and perhaps maybe it does. And that's why I talked about a campaign. When you do launch a campaign about educational, then talk about the special ballot a little more.
Exactly, right.
So I would fully support that 100% and have this past year.
Okay, and just one brief comment. I would be remiss if an individual representing a group like yours, I didn't mention the fact that our friend and colleague Senator Jacques Demers has done so much for the cause of literacy, and I'm not sure if you've ever had a chance to meet him, but he's quite an inspiring individual and has done a lot for that particular cause, and I know he will continue to do that in the future.
Absolutely. Literacy is a huge thing until you actually look at it. And something we sometimes do when we do a lot of our work and think we missed on something. It's an easy thing. I don't think it's a criticism. I think it's how we can improve it to do it better, so we don't mess up the next time.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Senator McInnes.
Very quickly, thank you for coming. I was on this literacy business. Were you saying it's 42% of the public? Okay. Yeah. I just want to, Senator Joel asked pretty much what I was going to ask, but I did want to just highlight this, the importance of using the word functionally. Okay. Because I back some time ago hired an assistant, and the first day on the job said that 65% of a certain segment of the society of Nova Scotia were illiterate. The outcry from the public, and particularly in that area, because people don't want to know that, was tantamount, just incredible. I had to release her. It was that bad. So I think mentioning functionally because that's what it is. It's not that they're totally illiterate. And so I just point that out to you. It's not a criticism, but it's just past experience told me that very difficult to sell.
Past experience, but I also caution you, though, from an advocate perspective, that word is used right across the country, because that's the skills even when people go to school and stuff like that. So I don't want to get into change a whole lot of words, percept. I'll continue with that word because that's what we know, and that's what, when you look for the numbers, it doesn't say functioning, it says literacy. there's no question, I can debate for 100 words on what I think senators should need to be changing, but the fact is I'm not prepared to. Yeah, right, because I think it's cautioning me. That's where a lot of our members saying, look, I have a literacy problem here.
Okay. Senator, you finished, Senator McInnes?
Yes.
Senator Ringette?
Thank you, Chair. How many do you suppose, and maybe that's, you don't have the answer, but how many people would be using mail-in ballots in your community? Because of, the secrecy and the trust in the person that you mentioned earlier, Madame Bergeron. Would it be easier, is it easier in regards to mail-in ballots?
I wouldn't have I don't have the percentage. I did just look up while we were going through. It was estimated, according to our cost of vision loss report that we provided in 2007, it was estimated that just under 817,000 people have vision loss in Canada. So that would be significantly increased today, given the seniors population.
Yes.
And 70% of our clients approximately are seniors, so that would be much higher today. I don't know how many of those would be doing mail-in ballots. Mail-in ballots, of course, are done in print and would potentially assist people who could use magnifiers, or potentially if it was in large print. But someone like myself, that wouldn't assist me unless I had, again, somebody would have to read the ballot to me, and then again, it would not be a secret ballot.
Okay, thank you.
Is there any jurisdiction in Canada that's moved significantly to address your concerns for the CNIB?
Sorry?
Is there any jurisdiction, any provincial jurisdiction that's moved to in a significant way, address your access concerns?
Access to voting?
Yes. Secret ballot.
I'm not sure right off the top of my head, but I can get that information and get it to you.
Okay, thank you. Well, thank you for appearing here today and assisting us. Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry, Senator Joyal, we have time?
Yeah, just a comment in relation to your question, Mr. Chair. The way I've always approached this issue, because I've been a candidate many times, is that to have somebody, a person of the family of the voters, so that, of course, my father became blind, and of course I went with him to vote the last time he voted. But it might happen that there is no family proxy to accompany the person to vote. And my father wanted really to vote. He has always voted in his lifetime. He was 95, I think, the last time he voted. So for him, it was, an obligation, a duty, and so on. He had a whole perception of what citizenship meant and so on. Mm-hmm. But what you raised, and I heard you went alone to vote. It's essentially when there is no proxy or no person of the family or the friends, the close friends that might accompany the person. Is it essentially what you referred to in your presentation?
I think it's two things. One, there may be it may be that the person that goes to vote doesn't have someone to go with them, mm-hmm. But it's also just a right to do it mm-hmm. on your own. It's mm-hmm. independence.
It's autonomy.
And yeah. it's the ability to do it on our own, just mm-hmm. like everybody else does. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And being treated with an equitable system that allows us to be as independent as we can possibly be mm-hmm. without having to rely on others. I had the option to take someone with me mm-hmm. when I went to vote. I have a sighted daughter, and I have a sighted husband. Both my daughter and my husband voted for people I didn't vote for. So
my mother was not voting for the same party as my father.
In the last municipal election, we had 2 signs on our front lawn because 2 of us decided we wanted to support a different mayor. Yeah. But the piece for that was that it's important for us to be able to do it on our own, independently, and it's part of our democratic rights to do so.
No, understand the nuance. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Well, thank you both for appearing here today and assisting the committee in their consideration of the legislation. Very much